Happy Sunday, traders. Welcome back to the channel. It's that time of the week where we go over my watch list and you can get some ideas from your own trade ideas and hopefully get some value. So the watch list actually seems quite quiet this week. There's not too much I'm interested in. So we've got Euro USD, Euro Pound, we've got USD CAD, Pound Dollar, we've got the DAX, US30, the S&P and NASDAQ. Now, just before I go into it, the reason I'm saying it's quiet is because I'm not looking to take all of these trades. It's just they're all on my watch list. So, for example, I'm not going to look to trade all three of the US indices at the same time. It's whichever one gives me the best entry first, really. So we'll start with Euro USD. Euro USD is under pressure due to inflation concerns in Europe. The European Central Bank has been slow to act. The euro remains vulnerable to downside movements, with ECB policies continuing to play a key role in euro strength. There is potential for further downside as inflation concerns mount and ECB remains its cautious approach. So essentially what we've had is relatively weak data out of the out of the eurozone. We do have the European Central Bank obviously looking to cut rates, and it seems like it's going to be more aggressive than the Fed cuts that we are in the current cycle of having. So that gives us a good trade opportunity, and we can see here we've got Refinitiv. Now, Refinitiv is a institution. We are aware that they have a sell limit here at the 1.09 level, and the stop loss is at 1.1. So that gives us a nice indication that we aren't the only ones going short. It's not just something we've found and said, okay, let's go and sell this. We know that they're looking to take this trade, so we can see here on the prime terminal we've got a sell limit on Euro USD. It is active at these levels that I've got drawn up. There is no take profit, so that's something that I want to keep in mind. That's why I've got it drawn up. It's a sort of good indication. Now, the problem we've got with Euro Dollar is that we've had such a strong melt. This has been a 3.5% move to the downside. Or roughly a 3.5% move to the downside with almost no pullback. The only thing we've had was one bullish candle. Now that's it. So now we've got a bullish candle that formed on Friday, which is nice. So there's two things I'm a little bit cautious of in this market. So we've got this level here, obviously level of structure or previous resistance. So I'm looking for a very typical break and retest. We've broken, looking for this retest continuation to the downside. Now, what's backing up this idea is that we do also have this 200 moving average to act as a dynamic resistance. So you can see, for anyone that isn't aware, 200 moving averages, especially on sort of the daily and the weekly, can act as very, very strong levels. And you can see great examples through here. When price just respects the 200. Now, obviously, it's not a huge deal. Obviously, the economics come first. But if we can line up bearish economics with a bearish market, and obviously then use the 200 moving average as a resistance, as well as the structural resistance, it's looking like a great trade is forming. So this is sort of entry number one. Now, if this level isn't respected, I have this backup level through here. Now, the reason I'm interested in this, obviously, we do have this level of structure, but it also lines up with this 50% pullback. So both of these levels are valid entries for me. Now, I do prefer this secondary one because I like to see the 50% pullback. I think it's a it's a strong confluence to have. However, with the strength of this market to the downside, I'm not going to try and wait. If I see the opportunity, I'm going to get into it. Even if I'm stopped out, that's fine. I'll get back in. As for take profits, unfortunately, it does seem we've missed the majority of this move. Nothing we can do about that, sadly. So it does restrict our R&R. So we are just looking for a 1 to 2.5. Now, we're looking down at this previous support. It looks like a very sensible place to have a take profit. Depending on what type of trader you are, you could even just have no take profit and trail your stop. And that's probably a great idea to have, depending on how the economics develop and how this market comes out. Next up, we have the euro pound. Now, the euro pound's been very difficult recently. So we were short on euro pound. We got stopped out when the Bank of England said they're going to start cutting their rates. It did cause this spike that we see on the left here, which was unfortunate. However, the trade idea is still there. Just because the Bank of England is cutting rates, it doesn't mean that this market can't go further down, as we do see the ECB cutting rates. And as I said earlier, the ECB is projected to cut rates quite aggressively, especially compared to the Bank of England, which we're having relatively not strong data, but it's stronger than the Eurozone data at the moment. So I am looking for an entry here, and I'll be completely honest, I don't know where, because this market is so ugly. So if you look at the price action, it's very difficult to really gauge this. So I'm sort of just waiting. If something happens, great, I'll enter maybe a rejection of this resistance or even the resistance above here. But yeah, I'm not going to try too hard to get into this trade. If it comes, it comes. If not, cool, whatever, fine. Now, the USD CAD is a little bit of a strange one. It's not something I would normally look to take because it is counter trend. So, if you watch my content on a regular basis, you'll know that I would actually draw a fib and wait for the pullback to go higher. However, the thing with the US dollar CAD is it's a very range bound market. It's not a market that tends to trend too much. We do see trends, obviously, like here, but even this trend, you could even classify this as a range, which I would really, to be honest. It's not a great market to be a trend trader in. Now we're back at this level of resistance that's been holding up since 2022. So it's a great resistance to, if you are looking to sell this market, it's a great resistance to sell from. But what's actually backing up this trade? Well, at the moment, nothing. Oil is decreasing. We're seeing positive US data, and the Canadian dollar data isn't overly compelling either. So this market has every right to go to the upside. So what we're doing for this trade is a little bit different. It's not something I talk about too much on this channel, but it's an event trade. So what we're doing is we're not getting into this trade really based on price action. We're waiting for a data release to say, okay, either the dollar's weakening, the Canadian dollar's getting stronger, or we're waiting for oil prices to stabilize and start heading back to sort of $80 a barrel. And that would be an event trade. We're waiting for an event to happen to drive us into this trade and then to drive this market down. So I'm not selling. I'm not saying that you should go and sell this market as soon as we reach this resistance. I'm saying I am waiting and I'm using this resistance as an idea to, okay, price is quite high for this market. We are at a really strong resistance. All I need now is to wait for this event driven, the data to come out to back up this idea. Now, the pound dollar is interesting. So it seems to be the case that all the retails are looking to go short. They're very late to the party. It's very similar to euro dollar, actually, in the sense that retail is late to the party, generally speaking. Obviously, there are some people in, but I'm just saying that the masses, even me, we've missed a large move really so far. And a lot of people relate the euro and the pound far too much. Now, I'm not saying they're not related. They are, of course. However, they have two different central banks doing relatively different things. So it's not a case of euro dollar down, pound dollar down. We can sometimes see the difference there. So what I'm looking to do actually is go long on the pound dollar. The reason is because obviously we do have, as I said, relatively stable data coming out of the UK. We do have rate cuts, but the rate cuts have obviously already been priced in, and I don't think those rate cuts are going to be overly drastic. And we do still have the elections in the US that could potentially be a driver to the downside for the dollar. And as I said earlier, actually not earlier, anyway, ignore that. The dollar has been moving to the downside since the 17th, so a couple of days ago. After the rally to the upside, the pound has picked up some steam after a rally to the downside. So we could now be seeing either a reversal, or this could just be a correction before both the markets continue in their already established directions. So we'll see. However, technically, this market does look really nice. So if we have a look on the daily time frame, we've got the rejection here off the 200 daily moving average. We're still holding this 200 daily moving average quite nicely. We are at this fib golden zone. Also lines up with structure. So technically, it does look very good. Now, if we go over to PMT here, we can see that both central banks, so we've got the Fed here and we've got the Bank of England here, both of them are looking to cut. That's not a surprise to anyone. But if we look at the probabilities or the forecast into 2025 or into the end of 2025, well, what do we see? We see the Bank of England rates remain higher than the Fed. Regardless of if both banks are cutting, we do still see higher rates. So that's a nice factor that we have to back up this trade. Now, next we have the DAX, or the German 40, whatever you want to call it. This has been on a pretty monster run, just the same as all the other indices, really, the US indices especially. So we can see we've had these really nice rejections of the trend line. So we are clearly moving to the upside. Now, the problem that we've got with the indices is that all of them are rallying. It's very difficult to get in. The prices are very high at the moment. So essentially what I'm looking for really with the DAX is a very simple retest. So I'm looking for some sort of move back into this level to meet this trend line, meet the level of structure, retest, and continuation to the upside. Now, of course, that's in a perfect world. I don't know if we'll get that, but it is what I'm looking for. So it's the same thing, with the US30. How can we really get in here? We might get this 50% pullback to the previous resistance, but again, it's extended, it's expensive. Same, S&P, same thing. We've got the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's not quite at all-time highs again, but it is coming up there. And again, how can we really get into this? Well, we can't at the moment. So we really need to wait. It's just a waiting game with these indices. Just looking for this pullback, and whether we'll get it now, whether we'll get it this week, next week, week after, who knows? But it is what I'm watching. Of course, when I take these trades, they're all sent to the Discord with all the written analysis and images and things to back up the trades. So guys, if you want to join the Discord, link is in the description. Like and subscribe to the video. Thank you for watching. It's been a little bit of a shorter video than normal. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. Hope you got some value. Enjoy your weeks and don't lose money.